gonna stop. See the light. I'm feeling high, my little lady. I'm gonna take it to the other side. You know I used to smoke too much. You know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car. You can get me high, high, high. You know I used to smoke too much. And you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car. We're gonna get real. Oh, I'm feeling good, my little lady. She's gonna take me to the other side. I'm feeling nice, my little lady. She's gonna keep me moving on. I'm gonna run till I drop to the break of dawn. Never gonna stop, she's gonna treat me right. I'm feeling good, my little lady. She's gonna take me to the other side. You know I used to smoke too much. And you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car. And you can get me high, high, high. You know I used to smoke too much. And you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car. And we're gonna get real. Come on, baby. Let's take a ride. I don't know where we're gonna go, but first, let's dance. You know I used to smoke too much. And you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car. And you can get me high, high, high. You know I used to smoke too much. And you know I used to drink too much. Take a ride in my car. And we're gonna get real. Oh. I'm feeling high, my little lady. I'm gonna take it to the other side. I'm feeling strong, my little lady. I'm gonna keep her moving on. I'm gonna run till I drop to the break of dawn.
Giottos are so good. These chocolates are, what? Chocolates? We're here about astrophotography. What are we doing? Wrong video. Whoops.
What have I done? Ooh, what have you seen? Early at night, got in the fight, in the candlelight, looking through the screen. Now what have I done? What have you seen? You know there's no future in love when a person has come in between. Jamie's gone. Jamie's gone. Can't look back and now he feels so strong. Jamie's gone. Jamie's gone. Left last night and now it's been so long. What have I done? What have you seen? There was nothing to say, took her away, and I feel the pain. Made love in vain. Oh, oh, what have I done? What have you seen? She knows there's no future in love when a person has come in between. Jamie's gone. Jamie's gone. Can't look back, and now he feels so strong. Jamie's gone. Jamie's gone. Left last night, and now it seems so long. Ooh. Ooh. You can hear these words I say when you're a million miles away. Yeah. Jamie's gone. Jamie's gone. Can't look back, and now he feels so strong. Jamie's gone. Jamie's gone. Left last night, and now it seems so long. Jamie! Come on, Jamie! Yeah! And now you feel so strong. Jamie! Come on, Jamie! Yeah! Left last night, and now it seems so long. What the hell's wrong with my telescope now? Yeah, what's wrong with this thing?
You're the lost Lone Ranger. Can I break this spell?
All right, how's it going, everybody? What's happening? We made it again for another show, another Wednesday, and it's pretty cool. We got a special guest tonight. Hope you guys like the smaller intro. I didn't change anything yet, but I only made it 5 minutes and not 25 minutes. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm setting up the new intros as we suggested in the last show, in the last polls, and going to do some other stuff. But tonight we have Tom Palmer, who is the creator of a target scheduler for Nina. And I know that a lot of people in the chat were asking a lot of questions, including myself, regarding how to optimize it and how it works. So let's just drag him in here real quick, and we'll just get this show started. How about that? So there we go. We got Tom with us. Tom, you with us?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, could hear you fine, perfectly. Thank you. Thanks for coming to join us tonight. Appreciate you making time in the schedule to come and hang with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking me.
Absolutely. So, Tom, before we get started, why not? We do have a bunch of newbies also in the chat as well as some seasoned astrophotographers as well. Why don't you just give a little quick background about yourself and how you got started with Target Scheduler and Nina and all that.
Okay, that's actually the first couple of slides of the presentation. So
why don't we show the videotape?
I'm going to jump into it. All right. Let me see. I think I had to share my whole screen last time.
Yeah, you got to share the whole screen. There you go. And you're on hit the F5 or run there you go. Perfect. Let me get you in a big mode here. There we go. And I'll get rid of that. Awesome. You're good to go.
All right, great. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the Target Scheduler plugin for Nina. And just real quick, some background. I'm sure it'll resonate with a lot of folks here. Interested in astronomy since I was a kid. But then, life, marriage, children, all the good stuff. Became a software engineer, doing a bunch of computer graphics over the years, scientific visualization stuff. But then once the internet hit, financial services paid a lot of bills. So and I ended the last 20 years of my career doing that stuff. In astronomy, I got a telescope that Sears discovered there, which I actually still have. I think around 71, and I was kind of infatuated with it and wanted to do photography back then, but didn't really have anything to do it with. And then really let it all drop until the 2017 eclipse. And I bought some gear, planned out what I wanted to do, and we ended up in Wyoming and had a blast, got some great pictures. So it really kind of lit the fire at that point. And I also discovered that despite what I thought, I've actually got a fairly good spot to do imaging from my driveway. I'm in Bortle 4. And after I saw some of the things going on YouTube, like Queeve the Lazy Geek in Tokyo and things like that, I realized I truly had no excuse not to go out and spend several $1,000s. And I've been interested in automation, being kind of a software guy from the beginning. I think like a lot of folks, I found Sequence Generator Pro first. And I used that successfully for a couple of years, and it was fine. But then I found Nina, and that just really resonated with me, the way it was working, the fact that it was free and open source, and continued to evolve. So, gosh, I think it was around 6 years ago, Stefan Berg, who's the creator, did a presentation on the Astro Imaging channel. But that was even prior, that was like Nina 1, even before Nina 2 came out. Nina 2 really raised the bar and made it, set it on the path of what it is today by adding in the advanced sequencer that let you have a lot more power about what you're doing during imaging, and then adding support for plugins so the rest of the community could kind of dive in and start contributing and add stuff that either people didn't need or didn't know they needed or whatever. But it's just really exploded since then. And I asked Stefan for some updated stats the other day, and he says the application itself is downloaded about 10,000 times a month. The homepage is about 76,000 unique visitors a month. And every time you start a Nina, it pings a version server to check on the active version. And he sees about 200,000 of those a month. So that's 200,000 Nina starts in a given month. So I started writing some other plugins, session metadata, remote copy, the web session history viewer, which I think is probably going to be supplanted by the new Touch and Stars phone app, which is pretty cool. And Target Planner. Target Planner is kind of the reverse of the Nina Sky Atlas. With Sky Atlas, you enter a bunch of constraints and it gives you back a bunch of targets that fit those constraints. With Target Planner, you give it a single target, but your constraints, and it'll tell you all kinds of imaging information about it for the upcoming, day, week, month, year, to see what the best times are going to be to actually image that. And in many ways, Target Planner actually led to Target Scheduler because all the core visibility algorithms had to be implemented and plugged in before that can happen. So that was kind of my next step. I think I'd adapted enough to C# and the Nina world at that point to not kind of botch things up too bad. So Target Scheduler, what it does kind of falls into four main categories. There's a user interface for managing the database that contains your projects, your targets, and your exposure plans. There's a previewer that will show you what the scheduler is going to do on any given night. There's an instruction. There's actually more than one instruction. For the advanced sequencer, you add it to your sequence, and when it executes, it repeatedly runs the scheduler, gets a plan back with the best target to image right then, images it, and then goes back and gets another plan until things are done for the night. And there are a number of things that you can do after you acquire your images. There's some image grading built in that we'll talk about. A relatively new feature on reporting that came in with TS5. And you can actually view a lot of the images and metadata associated with every image you grab. So let's take a look real quick at the management piece and how you set all this stuff up. So in Nina itself, you create a series of profiles, and your profile describes the equipment that you want to use with that profile, including your location, a custom horizon, the filters in your filter wheel, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of things that describe a given profile for Nina operations. Well, since what you're going to image is really going to depend on the characteristics of that equipment, Target Scheduler also organizes your projects by profiles. So what you see here is a profile named RedCat51 and then 3 projects underneath it. So underneath those profiles are projects. Projects really just serve to group a set of targets together and provide common preferences for them. So each one is defined under a Nina profile. You can make it active and inactive. You can set a priority, which we'll talk about in a bit. Minimum time constraint. You have to have at least that amount of time on target to be considered. Lots of horizon controls, including tapping into the Nina custom horizon attached to the profile. You can specify a meridian window constraint, say that I'm only going to image targets under this project for an hour before and an hour after transit. Filter switch frequency and dithering, which we'll talk about, and the scoring engine rule weights, which we'll talk about. Underneath the projects, you have one or more targets. A target is just a single deep sky object. Target scheduler only deals with objects moving at sidereal rate, so no comets, no solar system objects. If you need that, go use orbitals. But target scheduler is just DSOs. And a target really just has a name, whether it's enabled, the coordinates. You can put, if you've got a rotator, even a manual one, there's actually a way to work with that. Put a frame rotation on there, and an ROI, which is just like the Nina ROI. And then you have a set of exposure plans. And we'll talk about those next. And if any of the screens here look a little different from what you're used to, it's because I'm running the current beta. So, for example, that enabled column is not in the release version. That's new. So how do you get targets in? There's lots of different ways. You can trivially tap into the Nina catalog, which has about 16,000 objects. The Nina framing assistant, which is really handy. You can go into the framing assistant, set up whatever you want, move things around. You can also set up, X by Y mosaic panels. Then you go back into TS and you click a button and you can import all of that at once. If it's a mosaic, you do it at the project level because it's going to set up one target per panel. You can import from a target that's actually in your sequence, an attached planetarium connection, and you can do bulk imports with CSV. And it understands the telescopius CSV format, as well as TS has its own kind of simple custom format. All right, exposure plans. So each target has a set of exposure plans that describes what you want to image, what you want to acquire. And each one has the name of the exposure template to use, which we'll see in a second. The exposure length, if you want to override what that template defines, how many exposures you want, how many exposures have been accepted, and usually accepted is managed automatically. If you've enabled the image grader, it will automatically decide whether an image is acceptable or not, and increment that if it is. And the acquired number is just read only. It's just the number you've grabbed. All right, I'm sure you saw a lot of things that you normally define with an exposure weren't part of those exposure plans. The reason is they're decoupled into exposure templates. So things like the actual filter, the equipment filter name you defined in the profile. Exposure length, gain, offset, readout mode, although you can leave those and take the default that you define for the camera in Nina itself. The binning, the acceptable twilight, so you can say, this filter, say it's HA, is good to start at Astro Twilight, for example. And new in this beta, you can also say an offset. So I can put like -20 in there, and it would say that it's imageable 20 minutes before the start of astronomical dusk. Maximum humidity is also new, so you can set a max humidity level, which obviously is going to change over the course of a night. So yeah, that obviously has to be handled dynamically. And also moon avoidance control. So Target Scheduler supports what I call here classic moon avoidance that's been around a long time. It was in ACP a long time ago. And that is set with two parameters: a separation, which is the distance from the moon to your target, and a width in days. And the separation is defined such that that's the separation you want when the moon is full. So I can't be any closer in this example than 60 degrees to the moon if it's full. However, if it's not full, then what that width says is 7 days out from full, so either first or last quarter, it can go to 50%. And it's just a curve away from there. So it's a way to modulate how to define avoidance based on both the distance and the phase of the moon. TS goes a couple of steps further and defines a couple of other things. One is called relaxation. So as the moon gets near and below the horizon, you might want to start to progressively relax that avoidance calculation. So that's what it does. You define a maximum and a minimum altitude. When the moon's between that range, it will progressively relax it. So when it just crosses that, say it's rising. If it's just below the maximum, and classic avoidance would only be attenuated a little bit. But if it's, in this example, more close to 15 degrees below, then relaxation would be almost disabled. And if it's below that, it's disabled altogether. The other refinement is you can state that the moon must be down, and down is defined as below the maximum. So if it is below the maximum, you can image. If it's above that, in this case 5 degrees, you can't image this exposure plan at all. All right, so that's kind of a rough idea of management and how you manage your everything: projects, targets, exposure plans. So the next thing you can do is run a preview. So you can set a time, date and time, select a profile, and then just click run. And it'll go off and tell you what it's going to do. So in this case, when I ran this a couple of days ago, it was going to wait until about 11:40. It decided, either because heart and soul is not rising until then above my awful horizon, I would think it would be plenty dark enough at that point. But in any case, it'll wait till then, and then it'll start imaging. So it would do the slew. If you've got a rotator, it would rotate and then do the plate solve to get to that point, switch the filter, and then just start imaging. The scheduler previewer actually runs the exact same planner with a couple of changes from the real one. For one, it assumes that all the images you take are immediately acceptable. So it's as if the grader ran, accepted it, and it's done. So it's not just going to keep going as if it needs infinite images. It also assumes that the plan is going to stop at an appropriate stop time. In this case, you can see at the end time there was 2:10 a.m. The other thing, it's not going to take humidity into account because it's not going to predict the future. So, but those three things aside, it's a pretty decent idea of what the planner is going to do in any given night. So it's pretty handy. So when you've defined everything and you're ready to actually run it, you've actually got to tell your sequence how to do that. So there's one primary instruction, actually container, called target scheduler container, that you add into your sequence. And I'll show a little sample sequence at the end here. And what it does when it executes, it goes off and calls the scheduler and gets back a plan, and it executes it. That plan's done, or for some reason it ends. It could be stopped by a safety trigger. It could run out of time, and it's got a built-in trigger to stop itself. Whenever that happens, it's just going to go to the scheduler again and see what's next. And it will continue doing that until the scheduler comes back and says, there's nothing left for the night. You're done. And we'll talk about those custom event containers in a bit. All right, post-acquisition. So TS does do some image grading. It's by no means sophisticated. It's basically simple stat stuff, but it can grade on your guider error, HFR, star count. If you've got Hocus Pocus installed, it can grade on full width, half maximum, and eccentricity. And you've got a bunch of knobs you can turn here to kind of drive how that grading comparison is done. But basically, it's just, from a sample set, derive some stats, and then the current stats, say it's star count, needs to be within some number of standard deviations of the mean there. And if it is, it's accepted. And as you can see, with like 4 standard deviations there, it's pretty wide. It's going to typically accept stuff by default unless something was just clearly whacked. Your star count is 10 when it should be 2,000 or something like that. So in practice, it seems to work fairly well. People don't complain about it too much. One major addition fairly recently with TS5 was adding delay grading. And what that does, it postpones grading until, in this case, you see that 80% there, until 80% of that plan has been taken, acquired. And at that point, it'll take that complete 80% sample and then run the stats based on that. And that works better because that's much more likely to be close to, the real population samples. So it's got a better chance of dealing with variable seeing across multiple nights and things like that. So it's been a win. Oh, and one more point. It is not intended to replace whether you use, Xinsight or whatever you use to finally decide if your images are suitable or not to include. This isn't the place to do it. It's just there to have some more intelligent counting on the images you've acquired and when to stop. That's it. Another fairly new feature in TS5 is reporting. I'd still consider it kind of experimental at this point, but reporting is meant to let you do a deep dive down into a single target and all the acquisition you've done on it. So it goes and produces a summary table of what you've taken with each filter, how many exposures, the amount of time, and then accepted, rejected, or still pending. And then some ranges of the various things. And then you can see, or you barely see, there's a big table below this that shows a thumbnail and some basic metadata associated with that. Acquired images has actually been a part of TS for a long time. And with this, you've got a lot more filter choice to find your images. You can see everything from the past couple of days or hone in on a given target. And it displays those in the table there. If you click on one of the rows, you see all the gory details of the metadata that came through saved with that image. You can take a look at it. And now you can even see a little thumbnail image there. And you can even manually override what the grading was on there. That part's new. So a bit more about the planning engine and how it does what it does. So when you kind of first think about how you would do this, a lot of people think, oh, well, I'll just, I'll produce a plan for the entire night and go from there. But the problem with that is it's going to be out of date within minutes because you don't know what's going to happen, right? You may have an autofocus trigger. You got a meridian flip. You've got multiple plate solves. You've got to move your rotator. All this stuff takes time that's not necessarily included in what it might consider. You could have a safety interrupt. So there's just no way to produce a global schedule for the night. And in fact, this form of dispatch scheduling actually works with Nina really well, and the way things are scripted and triggers and interrupts work and things like that. It's just really nice. Another thing you can do is you can actually go and make changes to the database while it's running. So you can go tweak things, and it won't impact what's being imaged now. But as soon as it goes back to the planner, it'll reload all that stuff. So that's handy. So it works by doing a kind of multiple phases. And the first is selecting a set of candidate targets. So it first loads everything up from the current Nina profile, the one you're actually running, and then finds all those that are active. So the project is active, the target's active, and I've got exposure plans that need imaging. Based on, hey, hush. Sorry. Based on date, location, and horizon, we can calculate all the visibility, where it's going to be when during the night. And then there are more filters there based on the minimum times. There are meridian window, what's the twilight level, how the moon avoidance may impact any particular exposures. So then we come up with a refined candidate list that might have 0, 1, or many targets. If there are no targets and nothing's available later, then we're done for the night. If nothing's ready now, but one or more could be later, it finds the one that's earliest and just tells the sequencer to wait until that time. When that wait is done, it wakes up, goes back to the planner, and away you go. If there's one target available now and it's ready to go, it just generates the instructions and away you go. But if there are multiple targets now, there's one additional step, and that's to run the scoring engine to select one. So the scoring engine has a set of rules. One's actually missing there on the left. There are 8 total that let you turn several knobs and decide how you want to pick targets from the set of candidates. And I would refer you to the documentation because there's a lot more information. But real quick, it can determine if a meridian flip is going to be required during the imaging run for a target, for a plan, and basically penalize it and say, all right, we're going to have to do a flip anyway for this one. That's a pain. Let's see if there's something else. If you like to do meridian window restrictions, then you can bump up the scoring based on those projects that define a meridian window. Since meridian windows, when any given target is in one, that's kind of a somewhat rare condition. You want to take advantage of it when it's there. Mosaic completion, if you're doing a mosaic with obviously multiple panels, mosaic completion will tend to balance the exposures across those panels, which can be handy. Completely different from that is percent complete, which will instead prioritize projects that have a higher percent complete, with the thinking that, well, this guy's almost done. I just want to wrap him up. Project priority, which you saw was that high, medium, and low on projects. Setting soonest is basically trying to determine if you've got something that's heading towards the west as dusk arrives. Obviously, the imaging season for that is short. So what this can do is help you prioritize those to grab anything you can before it's gone for the year. And the target switch penalty says that if you if the next target is different from the one we just did, then penalize it because it's necessarily going to need a slew and a center, which take up some time. Now, anybody who's ever played with rules engines knows they can be kind of problematic, and they can be, once you get a certain number of rules and complexity, it's really hard to predict what's what. So don't think you're going to be able to fine tune it, or you can fine tune it for today and tomorrow, but you'll find that a couple of weeks from now, it's not with different targets. It's not doing what you want anymore. So you really don't want to try to use this to, get the last, 9 inches out of your exposures. Find a set of these rules that are working for you, and set the rest to 0, so they don't impact you. Okay, so once we picked a target, we have to decide which exposures we're going to do based on all those that are in the exposure plan. So depends on how you count, 3 or 4 ways to do this. So the project has those filter switch frequency and dither settings that let you set up kind of some fixed patterns on this. So for example, you've got LRGB in your plan, and you set that filter switch frequency to 2, and you want to dither every 3. Well, that would result at repeating each filter twice. That's the 2, LLRR, etc. And then the dither 3 basically says, insert a dither before I hit the third occurrence of that filter. So the last line kind of covers it there. If the dither setting is in, a dither will be added before the n+1th occurrence of the filter. And just another example there. If you set the frequency to 0, it goes into repeat until done mode. So it'll just take the first incomplete, non-rejected exposure plan and generate instructions for that until it's done, and then move on to red in this example. So actually, let me move on. So another exposure selection technique is called smart exposure selection, which is all about moon avoidance. So imagine you've got a situation where you're doing, say, LRGB and SHO on a target. And for LRGB and oxygen, you've got pretty strict avoidance on that. And for the other two, you don't, because they're so narrow. So what smart exposure will do is basically, if one of those LRGB or oxygen is not rejected, so it does pass moon avoidance, even though it's still got a high aversion to the moon, then it will be picked. It will always be picked over one of those narrow bands, because you've said, yeah, I've got to prioritize these because the moon is my enemy here. So as long as it's not rejected, it'll keep doing it. And there's an additional refinement to it, where if you set that filter switch frequency, it'll actually cycle through the plans that have the same or close avoidance score. In this case, the avoidance score is really just the separation times the width normalized. So all of those LRGBO would be the only things that are imaged if the moon allows. If the moon doesn't allow, then it's going to dive right into the hydrogen and sulfur. Get on those. The last exposure ordering technique is basically just a manual override. You can say, I just want to control it, and you manually insert your filters and dither operations in a fixed pattern. And that works, and it will do it. But keep in mind that as a given exposure plan drops out because either it's complete or moon avoidance kicks it out, then obviously it won't get picked. But the operation will continue. It would just move on to the next step. And that next step could be dither. So in this example here, if loom was done, it would start with a dither, which doesn't do much for you. So the chances are using this, you're going to over dither as things get complete. So, but if you want to manually control it, that's the way. All right, real quick. Scheduler returns, it returns a plan, and it could be either a wait, so just wait for a time and then call the planner again, or a set of instructions. And these are just really Nina instructions, like switch filter, slew, center, take exposure. So you don't have to deal with those. They're all underneath the hood, but that's what's in a plan. And then the timeline you see below kind of shows a series of targets running various plans with a wait period in there, and actually a safety interrupt. And then the before new target custom event container, which actually happens after a slew, which can be critical. So, okay. All right, let me talk quickly about some advanced topics. TS can take flats for you, only with a panel, and you've got to train them using the Nina Flat Wizard first. So it's not going to do sky flats. But if you've got a panel and you want to let target scheduler automatically work out what you need to take, it can do it. So there are 3 approaches to doing it. One, you can set a flat cadence, which is basically take the flats every n days. You can take the flats at target completion, so wait for all exposure plans to be done, and then trigger flats for that target. And you can also do what's called immediate flats. So these are tricky and only necessary if you're using a rotator and the rotator cannot reliably reproduce a given angle. In that case, you have to take your flats immediately after you've done your acquisition, since you're at the target. Well, that doesn't matter, but your rotator's in position and ready to go. So if you need that, you can take immediate flats. It's just a little problematic, frankly. So, custom event containers. So as you probably saw on the sequence instruction for TS, they're a set of containers where you can drag and drop Nina instructions, any instructions, core instructions, plug-in instructions, to execute at these various event times. So you've got, you can do it both before and after a wait, before and after a new target. And a new target is not brand new. It's, I'm going to have to slew to it. After each exposure, after each target is done, before we switch to a new one or we're done for the night, and after a target reaches completion. The custom stuff also includes the ability to add triggers, but I try to steer people away from this because invariably they do things that aren't good, won't work, or could cause problems. So there aren't many use cases where that even makes sense. Okay. And for the really advanced, if you have 2 or more imaging trains on the same mount, then you can run TS synchronized. So you might be familiar, Stefan actually wrote the synchronization plugin, which does this without TS. But if you're using TS, you would have to use TS synchronization mode. And you have a Nina requires you run a single Nina instance per imaging train. And Nina requires that each of those have a separate profile. And for target scheduler, that means the targets you're going to be working with have to be defined under one profile. And that's going to be your server profile. And it's going to be the one that's going to connect to the mount, the guider, anything that needs mount control. And the project's targets and exposure templates are all defined under that server's profile. Then you can have separate Nina instances running one or more clients that may only have a filter wheel and a camera, and they will come up and you can decide how you want these instances to sync up, and then it will poll the server and say, well, what do you got for me? And the server may respond with, here's an exposure, execute it. So the primary purpose is to gang up on the exposures and complete your plans sooner. There are ways to kind of trick it, such that, for example, you could have a different camera with some different characteristics needing a different gain or offset or things like that. You can make that work so that the client actually will operate a little differently from the server. It's just another step of complexity to get that running. Okay, let me take a breath and see if anybody has any questions. I assume everybody's there. I haven't heard any breaths.
Oh yeah, no, we're just letting you. I've been writing down the questions in the book.
So shoot.
Do you want to switch over to the other camera, or?
Yeah. Oh, well, let me ask you this. I was also going to just show a sample sequence.
Sure.
And I don't know if that will maybe answer some questions. So let me do that.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. Can you see that Nina instance?
Yep.
Looks like it. Okay. So I'm in the plugins tab here. See all the plugins I have. We're looking at Target Scheduler. Here are those four main areas of functionality that I talked about. Target management, where you manage everything, the previewer, reporting, and look at your required images. And in target management, you go into this screen where you see your profiles, and I just whipped up a little test database here. So my profile is called RedCat51. I've got these 3 projects here. There's the Heart and Soul project and those details, and one target here with all those plans. So, you can easily edit this stuff, add whatever you want, save it. Little green marks here tell you whether it's active or not, which means whether it will be actively selected by the scheduler or not. And you can actually click this little eyedropper here, and it'll color everything, also based on what is actually imageable. I think this guy doesn't even have any exposure plans, so there's nothing to do. Like same over here as well. Yep. But that guy's green. He's ready. He would work. The preview wouldn't look much different than I showed you the other night. So, and the other two, I don't have a big database loaded with more interesting stuff.
So how did you get those? I'm sorry. The words are green in yours, and in mine they're not. So like when you go into the target management, yeah. And
you mean right here?
Yeah.
Click the eyedropper.
Click the I. Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
Oh, Eureka.
There you go. I've been
You
going
can
in.
be taught.
Hey, I can be.
There's two kind of tweaks here. That's one. The other is only show what's active. So if I click that, I only see what's active.
Gotcha.
It still gets on and off. So yeah, just a couple of handy ways. Collapse all, expand all.
Yep.
Do a reload if you have to. Down here, you've got exposure templates, which are also managed under a profile, the same one. And here they are. It's just vanilla set there. All right. Let's get this loaded. Yes, let's look at the sequence. And I don't critique this. I just whipped it up this afternoon as an example. So it could have some bugs.
That's fine.
But a typical Nina sequence, you're going to connect your stuff. And then, you're going to have some kind of prep. I'm going to wait for Astro Dusk here. On my camera, there are better ways to do this. Slew to a fixed location, start guiding, do autofocus. So that's just target scheduler is not going to focus for you. So you want to get it reasonably in focus, at least well enough to do a plate solve, for example. And then once this container is done, it'll just fall through to the imaging container where I have some triggers, the normal meridian flip, center after drift, autofocus after HFR. And these are just the vanilla, triggers. And that's one of the genius things of Stefan's plugin approach is you can create all this stuff and it just works with regular Nina land, which is brilliant. So I have no loop conditions. I imagine there might be some questions about those. And then I just have my container. And it's just a single instruction. And you don't even need, there is let me show real quick, target scheduler condition. I could throw that in here and say, well, targets remain tonight. And that will continue to loop this, but you don't need it because the container does it itself, because it's always, when it's done, it goes back, gets another plan, and continues until it's done for the night. So in this simple case, you don't need this.
Oh, okay.
Not needed. Now, there are absolutely scenarios, usually safety, where you do. So, and then obviously you don't see anything here, and you won't until you actually start your sequence and it actually gets a target. At that point, this will load up just like it always does with a regular DSO container. And you may well see, even if I connected stuff up here, center after drift would still show a validation error. And the reason is it doesn't yet know what the target is.
Okay.
But you can just ignore that. That's just an artifact because TS doesn't yet know what the target is. As soon as it gets one, it will walk up the sequence and find any center after drift instances and tell it what the target is. And anytime it switches, it does that again. And the same thing happens for, if you're in Nina imaging and you're dealing with, I don't even have it in here, but the target. Where's the target? Target name. Well, wherever it is, It's built in, and here it is, target name. TS will play nice with this, so it will help set this variable if you're using it in your file path pattern. TS
Gotcha.
defines a couple of variables on its own. TS project name, which just names that project, and the session ID, which is helpful when you're working with lights and flats. And it's also handy if you're using the PixInsight batch thingy. You can also see down here those custom event containers that I talked about. Triggers, just say no, don't do it. Before wait, you might be tempted to do something like park. Say, I want to do a park before a wait, and then an unpark when I'm done. But if that's all you're doing, you don't need to do this because TS will do it automatically if the wait is longer than a minute. So unless you have some other reason that you really want to park during the wait, you don't have to do it here. And then the others, before new, after each exposure, et cetera, et cetera. The primary use case that I think people use for these are things like notifications, like the ground station.
They push over.
Or Discord alert.
Yep.
And yeah, TS will play nice with that and set the target name so that'll come through. And obviously the image, if you're actually sending an image through to Discord, for example. So that works. And then once it's done for the night, so it gets back an empty plan, and this guy just naturally quits execution and falls off the end, and we go into this simple flats approach. And in this case, I did use that condition, and I set it to while flats needed. And the reason is you may want to do some things in here that only apply if you're actually going to be taking flats. For example, connect up your flat panel. If you're not going to be taking flats, for example, you're only using target completion and no target is done, then nothing will happen. This will just fall right through. It won't even execute. But if one or more targets need flats, then it's going to enter the loop here and execute the instructions. So this can get quite complex. For example, if you've got a you don't have a flip flap, and you've got a wall mounted panel, you got to slew over to it and cut it on and do all that stuff. I guess it's not that complex, but
yeah, some extra instructions that you might need.
Correct. And it gets really weird if you're trying to do immediate flats. If your rotator has issues, I don't even want to go there. So,
yeah, I was going to ask you if you could, with the flats, right? Now, is this all part? This is in part of the target scheduler container part. This is another sequence, another sequential sequence after, right?
That's correct. Yeah, these are just normal Nina sequential containers.
Gotcha. And then, I also saw in the flats there was instructions for, where is it, the target scheduler flats. So where is that? Where's the settings for that to take the flats? So I know you said take within during end days and a couple other things that you had options for it. Is that there?
Yeah, so it's a couple of places. If you go into a project, you've got this flats handling.
And that's why I never seen it. I always have it turned off.
So, yeah, you can set it off, or set it from 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, or 14. That's one of the cadences. So
Is that
it'll just
days
take them.
or is that
It,
sessions?
in effect, it is days. So if you image, say on Monday, say you set it to 2, you image on Monday and you can't go again till Thursday, it'll say, yeah, we need flats. It's been too long,
Okay.
right? Whether you're worried about dust accumulation or whatever it is. So that's what that does, or target completion or immediate. So if you set this to something, then you obviously have to set things up in the Flat Wizard. And I don't even have it done here for my.
No, but if you have trained flats already, it'll run off those.
Yes, in fact, you have to. If you don't have those, it'll get upset.
Got it.
Because it's got to automatically set panel brightness and exposure length.
Got it.
Which this determines. Right? The other thing is, and you can override this now, but by default, it'll use this number as how many flats to take of each. Now, in the instruction here, you can now override that. You can see it just defaulted to 10, which is what it found in the flat wizard. Yep.
And what's the repeat flat sets? What is that?
So what that will do is, all right, imagine you've shot 3 targets in a night, and we need to take flats for them, and they all took hydrogen. If repeat flat sets is off, it's only going to take 1 set of hydrogen flats, right? You just need to arrange to apply those to all the targets.
Okay.
But if you don't care about time and disk space, and it's sort of easier from the management perspective to take it all and chuck it at, PixInsight, then you can say repeat them, and then you get those flats 3 times.
Gotcha.
Makes sense?
Yeah, no, but now I got a question for you regarding this. So let's say you run your target scheduler, right? And you have 2 or 3 targets that are going at different rotations. How do you get the right flats to the right project?
When TS is taking flats, it's saving some information in the database, and it knows how to go retrieve what the rotation is for a given filter. And and kind of leading back to your previous question, even if this was off, but you had different rotations, it's going to take them.
So it'll say, let's say I'm doing, I don't know, for a perfect example, what I'm doing now, I'm doing the Eagle, I'm doing the Wizard, and I'm doing the Flying Dragon, right? All different rotations. So
Yep.
it'll wait for Nautical Dawn, and it will take the flats for all 3 of those rotations.
Correct.
That's sweet. That's awesome.
And in that case, it has to repeat those, right? Because you want the rotation to be the same for all the Eagle images.
Gotcha.
Right. So you've got to have them. So this is almost ignored in that case because it doesn't find duplicates underneath the hood.
Gotcha. So will the flats save in the right target folder, or do we have to kind of separate them?
No, it'll use this.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
Yep. Images will be saved using all your normal stuff.
That's sweet.
All right. Any more questions?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Bring it.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Well,
Well, you already answered, my question. So, Dan, in your presentation about which I like that the idea, the moon avoidance and everything with, especially if you're working with certain filters like green, blue, and oxygen 3, and based off of you can do some sort of moon avoidance in a way you will maybe not use those filters based off of the moon phase or altitude based off of your target and the moon. So I think that's pretty slick. The whole moon avoidance feature is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. And if you want to take it that step further, you enable smart exposure such that if you can take that, say, oxygen or lume, if it's not rejected, then always prioritize that over hydrogen or sulfur.
Sure.
Right.
As long as I still need those two and it's not rejected, take it.
Gotcha. Oh, that's really cool. Thank you. That's a really nice feature.
Yeah. So let's see. I've noticed a couple times, and I don't know, maybe it's after the meridian flip or not. Like when I go into my target scheduler, when I run the plan, right? And I take a look at the plan, see what it's going to do tonight. It will start with one target, go to a second target, then go back to the first target, and then do a third target. So I'm not sure why. Is that because of the meridian flip that maybe it did, or I'm not really sure why that would do that.
It could be one thing, and or priority. You could change. One of the priorities could be high,
Okay,
for
fair.
example. Now, and this is something I need to work on in TS5. If you run a plan in the previewer here, and it's not a great example because it's only got one thing to do. You click this View Details button.
Yep.
And it will give you a bit of additional information. Now, it's pretty high level and it doesn't really help much. You can go into, if you go back to management, select your profile and go to the profile preferences and change this is the TS log level, which is completely different from the Nina log.
Okay.
Set that to trace. Then if you go back here, we do view details again. There's a lot more
Oh
information.
wow, look at that.
And if there were multiple targets available, you would see information about the scoring runs.
Got it.
But it's crazy verbose. Yeah, it's doing way too much. So, unless you're really highly motivated, you're not going to dive into this.
Gotcha.
So what I need to do is improve this and really produce kind of a clean report of what it's up to.
Okay. The image grading. So when it's image grading, and it's, I think the default you were talking about is set to 80% of completion. Was that correct, or?
That's the setting.
Right. So, so you're not going to get a grade. Actually, if you go back to that other screen with the actual target. Yeah. So you got 2 percentages here, right, on the completion. So one of them is after it hits I never understood what the two. I tried to read it and kind of understand it, but I couldn't really understand what it meant.
Yeah, I don't fault you for that.
I was like, wait, I don't get it. Why don't you just give me? Because what I've been doing with mine is I've actually been, and this is probably the wrong way to do it. I've been blinking the images every morning and changing the accepted column to what I have.
Sure.
And that's what I've been doing. And so I've been getting a percentage on in the left column, I think, if I remember right.
Right.
And then 0 would be in the right column. So I'm guessing it's waiting to be 80% or more to what. But I guess my main question is, why wait to 80% of finish to find out that you have some bad images?
So do you have grading on?
No, I don't right now. I'm just wondering why 80% is the number.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So before that was implemented, there's a problem that happens. Say you're imaging on the first night on a target, and the scene conditions are really good, and you've got great HFR, eccentricity, except excuse me, all your stats are good. And then the next night you image it, they're not so good. And the way it used to work is they would be graded and they would all fail because they don't live up to the expectation of the great seeing night.
Right.
And when maybe they were average and perfectly acceptable. So by waiting until you've acquired 80%, or less or more, you can adjust it. You have a better chance of acquiring closer to the full population sample across multiple nights, seeing conditions, etc.
I got you.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Makes
was
sense.
just trying to think if I would turn it on, would that I'd still have to go through them anyway, and maybe not. Well, because so if it rejects it, does it move the file to somewhere where like a rejected folder?
Only if you tell it to.
But there is that option.
And by default, it's false. So in profile preferences, you can say move rejected images, and it'll just put it in a folder called rejected underneath the folder that it was in.
See, I think that'd be a great kind of thing, because then you could kind of look at those and see if they're really, you know, you get you would kind of you'd be able to tweak the grading a little bit more to see what it's actually rejecting.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Because I'm
Yeah,
literally
but
like,
again,
I'm blinking and deleting things every morning because I'm at Starfront. So I'm sitting there and if I don't do it every day, all of a sudden I'm going to be going through like in a week, I'll be going through like 400 images. And, that's not really what I want to be doing for a weekend. But, you know.
one that doesn't say 50.
Yeah, I get that. I get that too sometimes.
Yeah, I knew this is confusing, but yeah, with grading on or off, and then you've got both accepted and acquired, trying to get some kind of feeling for how close you are to done.
Right.
It's a bit, squirrely.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but once you're done for the day and it shows acquired in there, you'll start getting some numbers if you want to do it manually and put your accepted in there.
Yeah, I could go database real quick.
What I know I had another. Oh, so I also saw a couple of people on YouTube. They have two separate targets. Like, let's say if it's not if it has broadband and narrowband data object, like if you want narrowband of you want the HA knots in a galaxy or something like that. where they would actually do an LRGB target and a separate narrowband target. Would you recommend that, or just dump it all into the same target and let it do its thing?
You could certainly just dump it all in and let it do its thing. Between the different settings in the corresponding exposure templates, controlling twilight and moon avoidance and
Uh-huh.
camera parameters, it'll do the right thing as far as taking exposures. About the only reason you would want to, I'm gonna think of something, put it in a separate. You could put it in a separate project altogether if, for example, you had some other constraints, like you only wanted those, say the LRGB in a meridian window,
Okay.
right? So if I said 1, that would be, it's actually, oh yeah, it's messing with me because it doesn't like. Oh, whatever. Yeah, it's never going to be
Yeah.
accepted here. Go out to like 4 hours.
Minimum
right,
4
whatever.
hours.
But yeah, that's potentially a use case where you could get some finer control by putting, say, the target with the LRGB exposures in a completely separate project.
Okay.
There might be some inefficiencies, even if the narrowband got scheduled right after the LRGB. It's still going to do a slew, even though it's right there already, and a center again, because
Gotcha.
it doesn't know that it's really. That's right. I don't think I look for how close it is.
All right.
So,
I got the 80%. I got the narrowband. I got that. I got that. Oh, the exposure order. So
yeah.
when you go into the, you had some things in, I think one of the slides where you go in the exposure order. It said with the filter switch, it was FSF0
Yep.
or 1 or 2. Gotcha. Okay, so that's not okay. I got it. All right. So the filter switch frequency. So that basically, so that every single, so it's gonna go LRGB. It's not gonna do LLRRG. If you wanted to do two and two, you just switch that to 2, right?
Yep. So,
And dither after every. Okay, that's because the way you're. I thought that was something you had to do in the other screen.
no. Yeah. You the dither setting, you can set it on the project, in which case it'll apply to every exposure plan that's part of every target under this project.
Got
But
it.
you can also define it on an exposure template itself. This is also fairly new, where you can set a custom dither for this exposure template. And in fact, if you're going to do that, you would probably do it for all of them, and then you never have to worry about it on your projects.
That's awesome. And you already spoke about the flats, so I think that was the last question. Let's see. I think Mike 1959. Did you have a question?
Yeah, he was asking regarding flat, and based off of rotation, is it something from a target scheduler standpoint? Is that rotation set, I believe, in the database? I mean, I'm sure Mike can repeat the question. And I was explaining to him that I believe in Nina, under your image settings, under you can actually, there's like a drop down arrow next to the image settings, like file names, and I believe there's a spot there for flats, and you can actually type in if there's a rotation, you can actually like double $sign rotation or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But
What to have
I'll
the
let Mike
angle,
ask,
to have
re-ask
the
the
angle
question.
and the fix
Yes, as
header?
far as the angle.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it's
something like that, yeah.
ROT angle, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But
So it's not direct necessarily right off of this TS, coming right off of TS scheduler. It's just but it looks at the file path information
there it is. It's
or
rotating
the
Yeah.
file
angle.
image pattern.
No, TS is gonna TS saves it in the database.
Oh, okay.
So for a given image, it's gonna know. It's not gonna depend on that file path. That's too fragile.
Yeah, so TS will
Thanks for
read the file information, the metadata in the file to find out where the rotation is.
Yeah, actually, not even like in the XF or FITS file. It stores it in the TS database itself.
It does store it in the database itself. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, it has to maintain a good deal of information about the flats so it can do the right thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fix some things in my target scheduler before I start imaging tonight. so you know, it's definitely increased my knowledge. I mean, I've futzed around with a bunch of YouTube videos and stuff like that for a while. I think at one point with target schedule, I didn't know what I was doing, so I think I had like minimum time was like 4 hours for everything. I was like, why aren't I getting any images?
Yeah,
And
that'll do it.
yeah, so I'm like, oh well, you know, because looking for 4 hours of data for everything. So now is 30 minutes too low, you know, or is that
It depends. In TS4, the minimum time value was actually overloaded to do more than just minimum time, and it caused issues, definitely conceptual issues.
okay?
But with TS5, it now reverts to meaning only um, I need to get this much time on it before I even want it to be considered. And if it is picked, I'm going to get that much time, right?
Gotcha.
It's going to stay on it for that amount of time.
Well, it'll stay on it for a minimum for that amount of time, or you know, will
Correct.
it go over the
It'll
1
stay on
hour?
it for at least that
Yeah.
minimum amount of time. It actually, what it does, TS5 moved to a per exposure planner. And prior to that, it was kind of per plan.
Mm-hmm.
So now when the instruction goes back to the planner, if it's currently working on a target, it bypasses the full planner run and just determines, can I stick on this target? And I need to stick if I'm still within its original minimum time.
Okay.
And then if for some reason, for example, the moon comes up and all of a sudden it's rejecting all your things, although it shouldn't have picked it if that's the case. But then you can bounce out of a plan before it hit the minimum. Certainly, a safety interrupt would.
Gotcha. I love this target schedule. I do, and I didn't know you did remote copy too. So I use that quite a bit as well, and you know that helped me out a bunch. When I learned the instruction for like the remote cut instead of copy, I was like, oh, good. I don't have to move anything anymore. It'll move it itself. so
With the underneath the hood to add your own options.
yeah. I found it somewhere. Somebody put the wording or the and I was like, all right, cool. So I just cut it to there, and then I don't have to worry about moving it, and deleting it. Yeah, pretty cool. All right. Do we have any more questions? Did you see any more questions in the chat, Eric or
No,
Dave?
no, no, no.
You just
This
told-
was great. I mean, really, I think I'm definitely gonna have to go back to this video because I am still quite a novice when it comes to Nina and advanced scheduling. But even I haven't even, be honest, I haven't even touched Target Scheduler. But your demonstration now, I
I love
definitely
the
want to go through this
concept.
again, and I do love the concept, sure.
It's
And
just and it's just a lot
Right.
to unravel and try and get to where it's going to work for me in the best possible way. But it seems like it's meant to where, if you have on nights and off nights, it always is going to go back to what you're working on. So you don't have to try and cram everything in at night if it doesn't meet the criteria you need or you want.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, there were actually a couple of slides I didn't get to. And I think one is appropriate here. If you're new to Nina or new to the advanced sequencer, don't look at TS. Learn those things, get adept at it, and then move on. If you're still trying to figure out new equipment and how to make it work, you can't reliably, do all this stuff that lets you really run unattended, then you really don't want to mess with TS.
mhm.
So it's wait until you're ready.
Yeah.
And the folks, yeah, Dan said, Chris, right?
Chris Woodhouse.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah. Chris was a huge help originally. With a lot of good ideas, and good gosh, he did all the debugging for running synchronized way back when. So that was great. And then some other folks. I'm sure you've seen Linda
Uh
on the Nina Discord. She's her sequence is just crazy,
huh.
pristine, but crazy. And if you need to see it, she's got it up on her GitHub site. And it's so parameterized and optimized. She runs the same one in two separate remote locations. And just that stuff.
Sweet.
All right, that's it.
Good. So you have definitely,
really cool.
check out Target Scheduler on YouTube and look at the video here again and everything. So Tom, yeah, again, everybody's saying it's been a great, thank you for the presentation. I thank you for the presentation. Really, really awesome. So I'm sure,
Yeah,
Very, very.
I know Dan appreciates it. I know you appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, Dan's the only one that's really using it right now. So
Be
I'm
honest,
probably
yeah.
next in line. So
Well, again, for me, it works great for me because I'm at a remote observatory. So, I sit there and I press play, and I already got my targets in there. I got my project set up. I got everything in there up till like the winter time. So, I mean, everything's in there ready to go. But all I do is hit play, and you know what? There's so many times where I'm thinking, like, what do I want to image tonight? And you're looking through Stellarium, you're looking through Telescopius, you're looking through, I don't even look at it anymore. I don't care what I know. I'm gonna get data. I just hit the play button and go and let Target Scheduler figure it out. And once you trust it, and once you get comfortable with how it works, and it's not for the faint of heart, though. So you got to sit there and you
Right.
got to troubleshoot it. You got to make sure everything runs right. You got to make sure it fits with your advanced sequencer right. But once it's like one of those, it's like a flattener, right? You get the backspace and you set it and forget it. Same thing with this. It really works
So,
really
Mike,
well.
real quick, is it worked with your virtual background, obviously, right? So, like for me, unlike Dan from remote area where he has flat virtual. vehicles. But for like me, where I'm dodging in and out of trees and stuff like that,
Oh,
Right.
your artificial horizon.
yeah, in my virtual horizon, it would work to say, okay, let's slew over here because now this is between the trees. So let's get that now, and then we'll go back later somewhere else and get a different.
Yeah. TS does all that.
Yep.
Excellent.
You just
See,
plug in.
that's
Good gosh,
I like that.
I image from my driveway, so my house is prominent. Then I've got some big trees to the west. Thank goodness I've got kind of a north-south corridor, so everything's going to pass, but still.
Yeah, but it works. It works good for me, and I love using it now. Now that I got, I'm not putting 4 hours of time into each image, so just make the time smaller to get, to optimize it a little bit better. It works perfectly for me. I love it. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna make some changes tonight from what I learned today, and hopefully I don't screw it up. so
Sure, I'll hear from you if it does. So.
I mean, Tom, what the hell?
Right.
It was working fine until you told me to do this.
All right.
No, I appreciate the time, man. Is there any other questions out there?
No, nothing. No, nothing right now. I'm keeping an eye on the chat. So again, thanks. Thanks again, Tom. Target scheduler here on, the plugin for Nina. I mean, once you, like he says, once you've gotten advanced scheduler and you're comfortable with Nina, it may be something you definitely want to check out.
Yeah, especially if
Thank
you
you
have
again for that presentation.
Yeah, especially if you have like an observatory or, even if you are setting up, every night, still you won't have to worry about what you're going to be imaging. You just throw it out there, you hit the play button and let it go. It's good for everybody. So just, just use it if you want to get more time and not thinking about, you can just sit there and put a whole bunch of targets in there and let it run.
In what version of Target Scheduler is this right now? Is it, you said it was 4 or 5?
It's what I was showing is actually the beta, but it's like 5.7 point something is the current release version.
How often do you
It's
release?
been out for a bit.
What's that, Dave?
How often are you releasing updates and stuff like that?
Pretty often. I think somebody found a bug in the beta that I need to figure out. But other than that, I think those new features are okay, and they'll go release. I think at that point, what I'm going to do is kind of freeze any new development for that Nina 3.1 version in effect, because 3.2 Nina itself is in beta now. And then what I'll do is produce a new beta that's only for Nina 3.2, because there's some changes in the core that we can take advantage of. And another guy on the Discord wrote and contributed an API to TS. Right now it's read only, but you can pull out all kinds of information, and he's written these really cool custom dashboards showing everything he's got.
That's cool.
So that will probably go into the beta, and anybody who wants to run 3.2 and that one can play with it.
Cool.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
No, Norm.
Okay,
Nina's not hard, Norm. Norm, you just got
Nina is easy peasy.
Once you get it to where it's just as easy as everything else. I mean, just like any other software, if you jump to a new program, there is a learning curve. But
with Nina is actually it's a pretty narrow learning curve.
I don't know. Getting to that, I don't know about that, man. You go from an ASI Air to the advanced scheduler.
Well,
that's like you're going from a tricycle to a freaking to a Fast and the Furious. you know.
but
So
that's,
Exactly.
but that's the difference is
Exactly.
you want to drive around in a tricycle, you want to drive around in a hot rod.
Yeah.
Nina's the
Yeah.
hot rod.
well, one's red, one's blue, right? So
Well, guys, again, Tom, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're reaching out about that time that we want to try to keep, cognizant of everybody's time and all that fun stuff. So I don't see any other questions.
no.
Dave, any final thoughts?
Yeah, Tom, thanks for coming on. I mean, I'm a huge Nina guy, and I'm hoping I can figure out a way to make this work for me because I mean, it does seem like it on if I do get multiple clear nights in a row, I can really I'll work it out because I like to do multiple targets in a night, and there are certain things that I can only get an hour here or an hour there, and then few hours on other things where if that helps me at least get the data I can get when I can get it and then still get other things at the same time without having to like go through and schedule and just lay it all out in the advanced sequencer. It does it all for me. I like that. So
Yeah, a lot of people ask, well, how should I organize my projects and targets? And one thing Linda started doing that I think a lot of people do now is have one project that's high priority and put everything that's like really we want to get this done this summer, for example, all in there, and then you've got a number of other things in a normal or low priority. And if it can't do one of the high priorities, one of the others will bubble up and hopefully not waste some dark skies.
yeah, excellent. Love it.
That's awesome.
Scott, any
All right, guys,
final
enjoyed it.
thoughts
Thanks,
there?
Thanks for the opportunity.
No,
Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, great presentation. Just another example of why Nina is the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. Dan?
No, I'll continue to use it. I'll make the little tweaks, and I'm looking forward to adding some more targets, and hopefully, and I've been threatening to finish this by the end of the year. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish my astrophotography meets D&D mosaic, and that I've been promising to finish that this year. So hopefully, that'll get done. So.
It is a
Got the
priority.
wizard in there. What else?
I got the wizard, I got the flying dragon, I got the ring, I got the owl. What else? I got Medusa. I got the next. I might not finish it this year because I want to get the witch head in there, and that's not going to be till February.
I gotta say that's a completely new level of geekiness.
That's me. I got the logo made in the middle already and everything. It's gonna. I'm gonna have 9 pictures around in a box. And
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
That's Dan.
it's not new. It's
No.
not new. He's
this
been working
is
on it
something
for
that I've
years.
been trying to finish for years, but I gotta tell you, being at Starfront, I've gotten more data, and I just did it. I just did a file count on how many gigabytes of information that I got in the last 3 months. I got over half a terabyte of data in the last 3 months, where in the last 3 years I've gotten about 100 gig from New York. So
Yeah.
I've gotten 5 times the data in, I don't know, probably like a tenth of the time. But
Impressive,
That's
man.
because Bortle 8 sucks.
yep, it does. And New York in general, when you only have 100 plus, maybe 100 nights of imaging a year, I mean, it's things take a lot longer. But yeah, and I thank you, Tom, for coming on And thanks for coming out with the target schedules, making my life easier. I'm sure it's making a lot of other people's lives easier, along with your other projects that you have as well. So thank you for what you do for the astrophotography and everything. So thanks for coming on.
You know where to find me on the Discord. So
Yep. You could go on the Nina Discord or anywhere else. And you saw the email. If you want the email, I can put the email on in the display on the bottom. We can do that. And in case anybody has any questions, you could reach out to Tom directly.
Awesome.
yeah, don't put my email out there.
Oh, I will not do that.
Yeah. Don't do
come
that.
on, put
Don't
that
do that.
phone
Discord.
number,
I'll put the
email.
Discord.
Yeah, you got to get on the Nina Discord. If you go on the Nina Discord,
Yeah. Get on the Nina
that's
Discord. Yeah. Get on the Nina Discord. Don't do that.
and get on the AstroWorld Discord.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not
Yep.
there. I need to
Yeah, we got about
Bye, guys.
250 people. So.
turning into a pumpkin. So
Oh, I
thanks,
hear you. I'm with you, my friend.
Yeah.
See you guys
Yep, for sure.
later. Take care.
Tom, thanks
All right.
again, man.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Glad to do it.
Bye
See
bye.
you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's about it for tonight for this Wednesday. So appreciate again Tom and spending time with us and showing us Nina's his plugin for Nina, the his target scheduler.
Yep.
He's got a beta. He's got the beta for 3 for Nina 3.2. He's going to be working on that pretty soon, and he's working on a beta right now. And Dan, now like you said, go do what you got to do and fix your stuff, man. Get your schedule straight.
I know my schedule's good. It's just it needs a little tweak.
Little tweak. Okay.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a wee tad.
And on a personal note, thanks for everybody for your concern and everything, and asking about me and stuff like that. It's been a rough 5 days, guys. It's been a rough 5 days.
I can't even imagine, man.
So 2 hospitals, fever on Friday, back injury and sciatica Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's been
That's out of control, man.
It's been crazy. So thank you guys for that. Thank you for the love and all that. But hey, I'm all good. It's gonna be fun. But until next time, I know image of the week, all that stuff has been gone nuts. But we do have an image of the month for last month. Did you guys do that last time? Did you guys already announce image of the month for last month? Did you do that last week while I was out?
I thought it was
No,
this
it's supposed to
Friday,
be on Friday.
the 21st.
Oh no, I thought
22nd.
it was it 22nd? Okay. If not, then we'll know it. Then we'll announce it on the 22nd.
I did not announce it, so
Okay, so we'll announce it
I
on
did
we'll
the
announce
week.
that on Friday.
I did the week.
Okay, cool.
This coming
Appreciate
Friday.
that. Yep. Coming
And,
Friday, we'll announce that.
and then we're gonna be doing the Zoom this Friday, right?
Yep, doing Zoom. Yeah, this is the 4th Friday, right?
So so everybody, is it the 4th? Yeah, it's the 4th Friday. It's 5 Fridays.
It's the 4th Friday.
So we're gonna be doing that. So everybody get ready for the big AstroWorld Pahate on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
That will do. And just to get back to Norm, I saw a comment that you had. I thought you had access to the Starfront data, Norm. I thought I gave you a password. If I didn't, let me know, and I will make that available to you, because I thought that I did that for you. And if I didn't, I am so sorry, because then I gave it to everybody but you, and I feel bad now. So I'll do it.
Oh, well, you know what? Do it tomorrow and send him a little happy.
Oh, I could send you a birthday present tomorrow.
Little
There you
birthday
go. There's a
card.
birthday card. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put a real tulip in there for you. Yeah. So there you go. I will definitely take care of that, Norm. And if I'm doing some work tomorrow, it'll probably be in the afternoon sometime. So I'll take care of that for you.
There you go.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right, everybody.
All
Well,
right.
see y'all on Friday.
All right, Eric. We'll feel better.
Thank you. Appreciate it, my man. Appreciate
Hopefully,
it.
don't take it easy going up those steps.
Yeah. See, that's a great thing, honestly, now, is that I don't have
on
steps
a ranch
anymore.
now. That's right.
I'm on a ranch now, so I don't have to worry about steps
I
or
should
anything.
be in good form on Friday. I'm playing golf all afternoon.
You're playing
Yeah.
golf in the afternoon on Friday?
I'm playing in a tournament, scramble tournament.
Ooh.
It's,
Oh, a scramble. Oh man.
oh yeah,
okay.
it's a. I should be
Shotgun
prepared.
scramble.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be hammered.
Probably.
Yeah. It's
Guy
at
guy
some
after my own
point.
heart. You
At
got
some. At,
you got to drink on the course, man. Trust me.
You know,
That
Well,
19th hole.
it's,
That
it's-
19th
my,
hole
my
turns
team
into.
has my team has no chance to win, so
Yeah, there you go.
do what we do.
That 19th
Yeah.
hole turns into about 27. You know.
Yeah. Now that I'm down here in Georgia, once I get this back thing straightened out again, be it
You'll be able to use the clubs
another-
again.
I'll be able to use the clubs again, be it a fusion or something else, wherever we
let's hope-
figure out.
Let's hope they get you squared away.
Yeah, if you get a fusion,
Yeah,
you're
we get
gonna
squared.
you're gonna do some adjustments to your swing, like massively.
Oh,
So,
big time. I have to do
No
massively.
more
Yeah.
lifting 50-pound bags of dog.
yeah, really.
No more of that. They got me on restrictions right now. I can only lift 10 pounds or less. So they already got that on me.
10 pounds,
And
man. That's like
no, nothing. I can't lift anything over 10 pounds right now.
nothing, man.
And
12
I gotta
ounces.
start
You
learning.
can lift 12 ounces, right?
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. 16. I can
16?
get my 16 ounces in.
16
I
ounces.
can get my 16 ounces in. But
Watch out
yeah,
with those
and
40s,
I've got to
man.
really. I know. You shut up. What the hell? I got your 40 right here. Yeah, 64. There's 64 right here. 60 freaking 4 right here. Jackass. Oh man. You the kind of crap I put up with, people. Been doing this for like I don't know how long, 6 years. This is the type of shit I've been putting up with, man. I got 64 ounces for you right here, so shut up. You know, so
I know I'm such an ass.
oh man. So all right, everybody. Well, we will see y'all on Friday for another Zoom call, open house, all that fun stuff. We'll get the link out and all that.
Very, very good.
Yep. So, and as always, keep imaging, keep educating, clear skies, and we will see y'all on Friday.
Friday. That's 1 week to the closing. Yay!
Woohoo!